Why don't we get started this way we can. I know everybody's time is valuable, and if people jump on, so be it. First of all, I want to thank everybody for being part of this. This is our second virtual Zoom meeting, and I think it's a good way to reach everybody, get everybody some pertinent information. This time we're lucky to have Captain Fisher and officers from the 26th District. And I know our staff, Kay Anderson, who's our Director of Operations. Hi, Kay. And there's Randy with her fabulous hair, our Office Manager and Marketing Director. Want to thank Captain Fisher and his officers, just not for what they do during this crisis. I know that they are overstretched to begin with, but just all they do for us in general. They are very proactive on our corridor. They have been very helpful to our businesses, our property owners, the patrons. It's a privilege to have you here. So, Captain, I want to thank you.
Absolutely, you're welcome.
One of the reasons why we started a promotion to help some of our restaurants, we've been encouraging people to order large meals for the 26th District. And speaking to Sergeant Massey, we think that's probably gone too well because you've been inundated with food. But I think it's a good way to show that people really care about what you're doing. So we want to thank you. And Captain, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Well, no, speaking of the food, I mean, yeah, you hit it on point. I mean, we've been getting food almost every day, it seems. We just had something the other day from Les and Doreen's, big platter, crab cake sandwiches, pizzas, hoagies, all that. So I know the officers are very appreciative of that, and I'd just like to thank everybody who was involved in that.
It's our pleasure.
So yeah, obviously with this pandemic going on, I just want to hope that everybody's staying inside, limiting your amount of exposure outside. If you're going outside, wear your mask, gloves, all that. You'd rather be safe than sorry. All my officers are equipped with masks, gloves, and hand sanitizer. They're required to wear them at all times when they're working. So we're taking our steps to keep our guys and girls safe and prevent them from bringing this virus home with them to their families. I'll open it up to anybody that has any questions or concerns with anything.
Hey, Captain, before we open it up, one of the things we thought was important, and certainly we've been interacting with the sergeant and your officers more than once a day, is kind of fill everybody in. What are some of the things to look out for during the crisis, things that our stakeholders should be doing, and any trends that we should be looking out for?
Well, crime-wise, our numbers are up just a little bit. They're actually up everywhere in the city, even though people are supposed to be staying inside, which is crazy. Throughout our district, 26% of the population that's been tested has been tested positive. And those numbers in the past several days have been trending upward. I know in the 24th and the 25th, they're each respectively over 30% population tested positive. So if you got to go outside, make sure you're wearing the masks, gloves if you're going to a store, if you're going to be touching things, and just make sure you're washing your hands and sanitizing. Being outside and everything, just be, maintain that social distancing. I know whenever I travel outside, I have been observing that people are doing that. They're staying apart from one another. The lines where they're giving out food, they have it marked on the curbway, the 6 feet space. So just to be mindful of that, limiting your interactions with people, even with family members. We just had an officer find out that he was in close contact with a family member over Easter, and that family member yesterday found out that they had a positive result. And with family, you don't even think about that you're going to catch it from them when they have no symptoms, especially. But you just got to be mindful in all types of situations. I know a lot of people aren't working right now, and package thefts are still up. So if at all possible, request a sign-on when it gets delivery to reduce the amount of the package thefts. It's been a major nuisance in this district for a while, so we're trying to get this out and educate everybody on ways that they can prevent themselves from being victims of that.
Captain, has there been any trends towards break-ins or attempted break-ins? Obviously, people know that many of our businesses are closed. Have you seen any increases or trends in that direction?
Well, I compared it from last year. So hold on a second while I get my notes here.
Take your
So
time.
last year at this time, we had 30 commercial burglaries around this time. This year we're only at 11 from March 13th to April 13th. So the break-ins are relatively lower commercial wise. Residential, they're lower as well. So we're not really seeing an increase in that. We're seeing an increase in the auto thefts, stolen cars, and theft from autos, which is probably theft from autos is our number one nuisance throughout the district. That's our biggest crime. There's really no geographical area where it's limited to. Sometimes we'll focus resources in one area, and then another area will get hit, and then we'll move them to that area, and then another area will get hit. So we just try to be tactical and deploy our officers where we see trends happening in that perspective. So, good.
I was going to say, is there anything that people should do in light of it? Looks like car thefts are up as far as securing their cars, where to park, things like that?
Well, a lot of people leave their cars running, and you should never do that, even if you're just running inside your house for 2 minutes, because all it takes is 5 seconds for somebody to get in the car and then drive off. A couple weeks ago, we did see a spike in older model Jeeps and 40 Econolines. We were able to review video of one of the thefts of a Jeep, and we seen an older model Honda Accord where 2 individuals get out. One gets in the driver's seat, another one goes to the Jeep, and literally a minute and a half later, the Jeep's driving off. We're not sure if they had a jiggle key or if it's something with the ignition where it's easy to pop. But we haven't seen any Jeeps stolen in the past 2 weeks since then. And 5 of the 6 were recovered over in Camden, New Jersey. So we're thinking that these individuals came over here, stole the Jeeps, brought them back over there, because this all happened within like a 5-day period. So we think that those individuals aren't from around here. We think they're more based over in Camden, New Jersey. Same thing with the Econolines. The Econolines, the ignitions are super easy to pop. We had about 7 or 8 of them in a 2-week period. We do know who's behind them. It's just a matter of catching them. But unfortunately, with the protocols that we're limited to right now with this COVID, we're not able to take people into custody and hold them into custody for nonviolent offenses. So unfortunately, we got to ID them, release them, and then the detectives have to go through the whole warrant process and arrest them at a later date.
Great. Rainey, why don't we unmute everybody so we can have everybody ask the captain questions while we have them? Senator Farnese, how are you?
Good, how are you?
All right. Is there any questions for Captain Fisher?
I have a question, Captain. This is
Yeah.
Janae. If you see like a group of people who are obviously not practicing social distancing, are you allowed to call the police on that or no?
I mean, if they're doing a little more than just gathering there, I mean, if they're like, say, if they're on private property or something like that, then yeah, you call.
Well, my concern is that I've witnessed 2 parties happening.
Oh
So
yeah,
there was-
absolutely. Yeah. If there's large gatherings.